Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. This is going to be one of the last NBA 2K20 videos that I drop on this channel. We got the 2K21 demo dropping soon. We got the 2K21 current gen game dropping soon. So 2K20 is basically a wrap. It's basically done and dusted. We got a couple weeks left. The support, the growth, everything has been tremendous this year. I can't thank you guys enough. But before we end 2K20, I wanted to look back at the year as a whole and say, what were the 10 builds that broke the game the most? The 10 builds that gave us the biggest headaches all year long. Now, this list is in no particular order. It's not like a countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, nothing like that, because you can't really rank like a center versus a point guard, you know what I mean? I'm just talking overall, the 10 builds that gave us the most headaches all year long, man. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and comment down below. What do you think was the most broken build in NBA 2K20? A quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Jersey Plug. Jersey Plug is a website that sells some of the most high quality NBA gear on the market. With everything going on in the world, I understand money might be tight right now, but fortunately, Jersey Plug allows you to still represent your favorite team, but for a fraction of the price. So whatever NBA gear you're looking for, make sure you head over to Jersey Plug. I'm going to leave the link to their shop down in the description. Click that and make sure you use code Joe at checkout. The first build, interior force, but not just any interior force. We're talking about post scorers, because obviously, you know what I mean, with this game, you could make the same build name with like 15 different actual types of builds. I'm talking about the interior force that is a post scorer. It started off, most people were making the finishing and shooting post scores, but by the end of the year, once people hit legend, they got the extra badges, they started making the build that I'm playing on in this gameplay, and that is a pure blue legend post score. Listen, post scores, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro, it's more about the gameplay that made these things so annoying this year than it is the actual build. Obviously, post scores, listen, you're a 7 foot something tall center, you're gonna be dominant in the paint. It's already annoying to deal with in general in a video game, but with this game, the fact that post hooks are just so overpowered, post fades are so overpowered, they're just like, you can hit them 100% contested, doesn't matter. It made interior forces a complete nightmare all year long. 1v1 court, 2v2 court, these things were dangerous, and they made a lot of people break a lot of controllers. Next up, we have the build I've talked about all year, the two-way slashing playmaker, specifically the yellow and red pie chart, the playmaking and defending pie chart, probably the most broken pie chart on this game. This build was basically any comp player that you went against that was a guard in the park was using this build. Why? Well, you got 99 speed. You can speed boost with like 90 something ball handling. You get a mid 70s three-pointer, which in this game is more than enough to shoot, because you got people out here shooting with a 40 something three-pointer. So mid 70s, you're going to shoot really consistently. And on top of it, you are a lockdown. You have Hall of Fame defending badges with 90 something lateral quickness, 90 something steal. Also, you could get like 85 to 90 something rebounding on your point guard build. So on the twos, the thing was a complete demon, because you could pick up anywhere. You could get the rebound offensively, defensively. Really good ISO players loved this build. As the year went on, people started putting lock takeover on the build, which made it even more dangerous. It was just a headache to deal with all of NBA 2K20. Anyone that played threes or especially competitive Pro-Am, you know what this is. The offensive threat, the finishing and shooting pie chart, probably between 6'1" and 6'3" on average. People were making these builds, and I'm not gonna lie, this build offensively is absolutely unstoppable, especially with how the gameplay is at the end of the year now. I'll get into that in a second, but first, the build is basically Hall of Fame finishing, Hall of Fame shooting. You get all the contact dunks. You get an 80 something three-pointer with Hall of Fame shooting badges, so you could shoot from literally anywhere in the half court. You get a high 80s to low 90s ball handling combined with 99 speed, or between 95 and 99 speed, depending how you make it. So you're extremely fast, extremely quick with the ball. And the defense is the one liability on this build, especially being small, but offensively, the build is unstoppable. Now, the reason I said the way the gameplay is now at the end of the year is because besides getting all the contact dunk packages, now people are doing the tendency glitch. So basically, anytime this build goes in the paint, it's going to get a contact dunk, and on top of it, people will use Pro 8 crossover and dribble glitch up the entire court, which doesn't allow defenders to bump them. So it's either they're going to get an open three or they're going to dribble glitch through everyone and go get a contact dunk with their tendencies. Completely broken build offensively, and any Comp Pro M team, or at least 99% of Comp Pro M teams, use this build. Next, we have the two-way finisher, but specifically the two-way finisher that is a pure lock, a pure red pie chart. Why is this build a headache? Well, the defense is absolutely insane, but we would expect that from a pure red pie chart, a pure lock, you know what I mean? The defense, the rebounding is going to be really good. We get that. But on top of it, this build can get pro dribble moves because it can get over a 70 ball handling. On top of that, because you can shoot with a low 50s three-pointer in this game, it can still shoot consistently, especially from the corner, especially if your teammate has dimer, floor general, that type of stuff. And then on top of it, the build has 99 speed, and it gets all contact dunk packages because it gets like a 90 to a 94 driving dunk. And this is a pure lock build. One of the most annoying things to play in NBA 2K20. Next up, we got the Playmaking Glass Cleaner. Now, remember that two-way slashing playmaker? Essentially, take that build. Instead of 99 speed, you're going to have about 93 speed. And instead of being 6'5", make it 6'8", and that is a Playmaking Glass Cleaner. It's a two-way slashing playmaker, except supersized. You can still speed boost. You still get a 70-something three-pointer. You still get all the contact dunks. And on top of it, like I said, for the two-way slashing playmaker, you are a lockdown. You have Hall of Fame defensive badges, extremely high defensive stats. You get 90-something rebounding stats. The Playmaking Glass Cleaner build is an absolute dream build for anyone that's a good ISO player on 2K20 because offensively it can do it all. But not only that, as I said, you are a lockdown. So even if you give the ball up, you can get stops, you can switch everything, you can get rebounds. On the twos, this build is extremely effective. In other game modes, it is as well, but especially on the twos and the ones court, this build was a problem all year long. The Paint Beast, but specifically the 6'9" to 6'10" Paint Beast. This build this year, wow, what a build. You can either go with the pure defending pie chart or the slashing and defending pie chart. Both are really good. Both have their pluses and minuses. Comp Pro M teams, I would say 90% of them were running this build at the center position by the end of the year. In Park, especially on threes, people were running this build. And even on twos, people started to run this build instead of the bigger center builds that you would typically see in 2K. You know, normally people, 2K17, people running 7'3" glass cleaners, stuff like that. This year was all about the undersized centers, especially for comp players, because these Paint Beast builds were insane in terms of offensively, their pick and rolls were amazing because they were so fast and they could catch lobs so well. But on top of it, especially the pure red, the defense, the rebounding was absolutely nuts. Think about that pure lock, the two-way finisher, and just supersize it a little bit. And that's what you got with these 6'9", 6'10" Paint Beasts. The next one is kind of tough to determine the actual name, but basically it's the shooting and defending pie chart at point guard. You know, a lot of people started to make these 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", shooting and defending pie chart point guards because they started to realize, especially on the twos in the Park, these smaller, playmaking shot creators or pure shot creators, and those builds started to become liabilities defensively. So instead they said, I can make a shooting and defending point guard that can still speed boost, still shoot really well, still is a demon offensively in the pick and roll, pick and pop type of offense, but I'll have Hall of Fame defensive badges, so I'm not going to be a liability defensively. And that's when these two-way pass first points and two-way three-level facilitators came out and started to really become popular for anyone that liked to run pick and roll, pick and pop offense on the twos. We have 3 builds left, and this one is the interior finisher / interior force. Now, I know we already went over interior force, that post-scoring build, but I'm talking about a build that was more popular in the beginning of the year, especially because people were grinding rep to try to hit legend. The interior, sometimes they would call it interior finisher, or sometimes it would be called interior force, depending how you made it. But basically, it's that 6'9", 6'10" Paint Beast, except with more finishing, and a lot of people went with slasher takeover because when you're catching lobs and stuff, you'll get your takeover faster, and you got a lot of rep progress for contact dunks and alley-oops. So having Slasher Takeover helps you get those, those animations and helps you get that rep that people were going for. But this build is actually really effective in the right hands. The pick and rolls are amazing. The defense and rebounding is amazing. I've seen people go on high 80, 90, 100 game win streaks just using this build because of how the gameplay is this year in terms of hop steps. We know hop steps are crazy. Baseline reverse dunks are crazy. And when you're on this build, you can play good defense, whether it's on a guard or a center. So it was a perfect build to go on a long win streak on the 1s, 2s. I mean, you could even use this build at the 3 when you're playing 3v3. There's a lot of different ways to use it. It was really popular earlier in the year, kind of faded off towards the end, but good build nonetheless. The slashing playmaker, but specifically the pure playmaking pie chart. Now this build is one of the builds I regret that I didn't make because this build can do everything. This build would get a 99 ball handling, 99 speed, a mid-80s three-pointer, and if you made it at 6'5", you got all the contact dunk packages. That is an insane build, combined with you could get 30 playmaking badges, so you'd have ankle breaker, floor general, dimer, literally everything in the game. Speed boost all the time, obviously with 99 ball handling, 99 speed. Absolutely incredible all-around build that offensively was an absolute demon. Now, even the pure yellow pie chart higher up at like 6'7", 6'8" is still really, really good. But at 6'5", getting all the contact dunks and still having, an 80-something three-pointer is pretty crazy for a build in this game. And I kind of wish I made it earlier in the year. Last but not least, I'm kind of biased, but I threw in the facilitating finisher, man. There's a lot of different ways to make this build. You could have the playmaking slashing, you could have playmaking defending, you could have shooting slashing. There's a ton of different ways, but this build overall, no matter how you make it, just seems to be such a good build, but such a fun build at the same time in terms of the way you can play. I really love the last one that I made with the post takeover, but of course, I would say my favorite one overall was the one with the slashing takeover. That's just classic facilitating finisher. My LeBron build that I played on majority of the year. Really, really fun, no matter if you play 1s, 2s, 3s, 5v5. It was always something different with this build, and on top of it, I'm not gonna lie, this build is extremely difficult to stop. Now, if you're playing Pro-Am or something and you could throw a double team at it, then obviously that's gonna do the trick. But when you're playing in the park, 2v2, 3v3, this build is going to get buckets all game long if you know what you're doing. I enjoyed playing on it all year, so I threw it in here. Let me know what you guys think. What was the most broken builds on NBA 2K20? The year's coming to an end. 2K21's coming out soon. I can't wait. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new. I'm out. Peace.